Greetings and welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I am Ken Ludwig, and you are watching the Vibrant Living Hour. Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and that you are living your absolute best life, whatever it is you're doing, however you're doing it, wherever you are. You're just enjoying yourself, have an abundance of love, joy, and enthusiasm in every single thing that you do. So it is another Thursday. Here we are. We have I have a few things I want to talk to you about today. I want to first acknowledge acknowledge this network, New Thought Media Network. This is a thriving enterprise that is that's really not that. It's only, I think, 2 years old, and it's just building a foundation of positive programming, positive entertainment. And I'm really thrilled with Reverend Robert Brzezinski, who is the founder of this, and everything he's creating. I'm just grateful and blessed to be on this network and to be able to do this show. So, it's I'm a kind of a lifelong, not a lifelong. I'm a real proponent of personal development. I am a reader of good books, metaphysical books, personal development books, business books, those kinds of things. And I said lifelong, but really it's only been since sobriety, which is kind of my second life, right? So it's been the last 34 years. It's kind of been important to me. I really have only read, I think, maybe maybe 5 novels in the last 15 years or 20 years, just because it's not my thing. I'm not into the story. I'm into what is there to build me, to make me better, to make me a better person, to make me a beneficial presence on this planet. And that's the kind of stuff I read. So many years ago, I bought the famous book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's really funny. Every time I think about it, I go to Rich Man, Poor Man, the old TV series with Richard Chamberlain, I think. But no, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it is the story of his education by his 2 dads, basically. And his one dad was his natural dad, and that was his poor dad. And his rich dad was his friend Mike's father, who was a very, very successful businessman, and who just taught him some great lessons about money and business and creativity and the things that drive people to become, quotes, successful, and at the same time wind up with financial problems and being in debt and never quite get out of the rat race. And it was a book I bought, and I bought the hardcover book, and it was on my bookshelf for years. And I've come to understand, I thought I had read it, but really the truth is I didn't read it. And I think Lisa and I were getting ready to move from Colorado to here to North Carolina. I think I gave the book away. I think it's probably not in the books that are in storage. It's probably sitting on a Goodwill shelf, or maybe some fortunate soul bought it, because it's a book well worth reading. I just started taking a course to kind of take my business, what I do in the world of networking and selling health products, basically health-oriented products. I'm taking a course in affiliate marketing, which is basically the idea is to make use of the amazing tools we have here, like just what you're using to watch me on this show, making use of the internet, making use of social media, making use of email better than we have been making use of it, just making use of all the technology we have at our disposal to take my businesses to the next level, and at the same time to embrace some other businesses. I truly believe that it's a time in history when, if you want to ensure financial freedom for your family, if you want to have basically a carefree life when it comes to bills and taxes and payments of this, cars, houses, mortgages, all of that stuff, if that's the life you really want to lead, then you need to have multiple streams of income, because a job isn't going to do it. A job is not going to provide that for you. Even if you have a great job, and that was part of the lesson of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was Robert Kiyosaki's poor dad was his natural father, who was a highly educated teacher who made a lot of money as a teacher. I think he was a professor, actually. But he was always just getting by, just scraping by with a mortgage, car payments, whatever it took for him to live that American dream, right? You know, George Carlin used to say they call it the American dream because you got to be asleep to believe it. And as I'm getting older, I'm kind of thinking George hit that nail squarely on the head. But by the way, I can see you're out there. I can see you're watching the show. I always appreciate you making a comment or asking a question, and just say hi, or just whatever works for you. It always thrills me. But so I'm taking this course to up-level my game and to embrace some new technologies, to take some of the things that I've created over the course of many years, some of my workshops, my ebook, the book that I've never finished that has 45,000 words stashed on a hard drive. Take all of those things to another level, and to just make life a little bit more comfy for my beloved Lisa and I. And so part of this coursework is get yourself a copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, whether I have the book or not is immaterial. If I have it, it's in storage. If I don't, I don't. So I just bought a $9 copy on Amazon. And I am basically just into lesson number 2. I'm about, 10 pages into lesson number 2. I'm just a little less than 100 pages into the book. And what I want to tell you is this is an awakening for all of us. If you want to live a vibrant life, if you want to enjoy your life, if you want to create a realm for your family where you are just where you can have a good time, travel, enjoy every single day, as opposed to work that 9 to 5 for 40 years, retire maybe in this day and age without even the guarantee of a pension. Maybe you've got a 401k, which is absolutely totally subject to the ups and downs of the stock market. And then you're going to get a Social Security check, hopefully. I'm a firm believer that the federal government can't let the Social Security go away, because if they let it go away, they're going to have about 80 million people living in absolute total poverty, and there's just no way to support them. We'll have you want to talk about a revolution, you'll have a revolution. But the bottom line is I get a Social Security check that is considerably more than the average Social Security check, but it's absolutely nowhere near what one might need to live a healthy, involved, vibrant life. It's just not. So this Rich Dad, Poor Dad thing has really been a revelation to me about how we all get stuck into the rat race. The rat race, and I've been saying for years and years and years that our educational system is one that was designed over 150 years ago. It is to create good employees. It's to teach people how to be good factory workers and agrarian kids how many eggs are in a dozen. And I've been saying that for years, that our educational system is not broken to be fixed. It's broken to be dismantled and start from scratch and build it over again, because we don't teach people anything about life. Nothing. I always get people always say, I'm glad I took geometry or algebra because I use it so often during the day, tongue in cheek, obviously, because very few people even realize how often they do use algebra or geometry. If there's somebody who has any kind of logical thinking processes, they actually use those things quite more often than they believe they do. But the truth of the matter is, we don't teach things that teach our children how to live. And you can, run down the list. First and foremost, I think on the list, the first thing on the list in this country in the 21st century, without a question or a doubt, is we have to get back to teaching civics. We have to get back to teaching kids how their government and their system works. Now, there's an interesting caveat to that, because I think the government doesn't necessarily want us to do that. And there's lots and lots of reasons for that. And some of them maybe border on conspiracy theories, but some of them are really, really true. The whole system is designed for the ever-shrinking middle class and the poor to basically support the entire system. We are a country that is based 70% on consumerism, and consumerism includes everybody, but the vast majority of people are not the 1%. They're the 99%, or the 75%, or you get down even farther into the bottom 40%. Those people need to eat and live and have a roof over their head and pay for utilities and water and all of those things, they need those things just as much as the 1%. So when you come right down to it, it is the consumers of goods who support the economy of this country. Now, those people, no matter what part of the strata they're in, they're working for, and let's talk about people who are employed. Okay, that's kind of the focus. They're working for someone else. They're being told how much they're worth. They're collecting their paycheck, on which they are paying taxes, and in some instances, considerably an unfair share of taxes compared to the upper echelons, that 1%, that top 10%, who pay lots and lots and lots of money in taxes, and in the aggregate, they'll tell you that it's an enormous amount of money, but it's not the same percentage that you and I pay. It's a considerably lower percentage. It's a smaller percentage. And what this book is showing me is, or teaching me, or not so much teaching me as re-educating me, if you will, on the idea that we need to have means of making money work for us as opposed to us just working for money. If we're trading time for dollars each and every day of our lives, then in the end, what we're going to wind up with is just the time and a little Social Security check and maybe a 401k that's great today and crapola tomorrow. And the way to do that, the way to make money work for you, is to find ways to be creative, to see opportunity in all the things that are around us. I'll give you an example here. And this is an example right from the book. It's a great example, actually. Robert and his friend Mike were working for Mike's dad in one of Mike's convenience stores. And he had paid them a very little amount of money for a little bit, and then he paid them nothing. And the objective of paying them nothing was to get them to open their eyes and see what opportunities were around them while they were working that would give them income. And what they discovered was that one day they noticed that a woman who managed the store, she was taking comic books, and she was taking the cover page and she was cutting it in half and tearing the top half off. And then she was throwing the comic books in a box. And these two young kids asked her, "What are you doing?" And she told them, she goes, "I am returning to the distributor the top half of each page, and we get a credit for that for the ones that weren't sold every week when he brings new comic books." And the boys were like, "Wow, that's interesting. What happens to the ones that are in the box with only half a cover?" She said, "I throw them away." And the boys had a brilliant idea. They looked at it, and they looked at each other, and they kind of went, "You know what? Can we have those comic books?" And the woman said, "If you don't sell them to anybody, you can have them, but you can't sell them." Now, comic books at that time were going for about 10 cents a piece. So what those two boys did was collect those comic books for several weeks till they had a couple of hundred comic books. And then they put them in a room, and I don't remember where the room was, but they put them in a room, and they had the other fellow, Mike, his sister, they paid her $1 a week to oversee the comic book library that was open 3 days a week, I think, for 2 hours a day. And they charged kids 10 cents, the price of one comic book, to come in and read as many comic books as they wanted to in those 2 hours. But they couldn't take any out. Now they went from making like very little money with Mike's dad and to no money made with Mike's dad to making like $9.50 a week, which in whatever, I think we're talking 1957 or so, which was a bucket load of money. I'll tell you what, I was a newspaper boy in 1963. I delivered the Newsday on Long Island. And I can tell you right now that every week I made about $8.50. And I had more money than anybody I knew. That was in 1963, a whole different world, I guess. 1963, 1964. And then I went to work for a landscaper for $1 an hour, but that's a whole nother workshop, as my friend Barry would say. So that's the example. The boys saw this opportunity and they took it upon themselves to do something with this potential above and beyond a job. They actually had this working for them as opposed to them working for it, which I think is a very interesting lesson. A very simplistic lesson, but a very interesting one. So we are in the 21st century, and we have all kinds of opportunity all around us because of the internet. And that's what this course is that I'm taking. And I guess what I want to get across to people is this is the Vibrant Living Hour. In order to live vibrantly, I need to have my desires met. I need to have all that I require and desire met. And in order to do that, there's got to be other sources of flow than what I've done up until this point. And it's out there. And I guess that's the whole message. It's out there. Look, this affiliate program that I found will, with any amount of luck, it will, well, that's not true. A little bit of luck, a lot of hard work, a lot of stick-to-itiveness. I mean, I'm only a little more than a third of the way through the program so far, and it has been work just getting through the program. And I haven't even started doing the things that will make me money yet. But it's worth the effort to go out and look and see what's out there and see what you can do in the world that will absolutely give you the opportunity to take things to another level altogether. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business and you're selling things, and I'm a firm believer that nothing happens in this world if you're not selling something, and selling at this point, selling is a service, because people have to buy things. People need to buy things. People need stuff. And those who have been most creatively selling things are the ones who are most successful. And even though there's so many things to say about Amazon and its founder that are not positive, the truth of the matter is an idea. This guy, he's the richest man in the world at this point. He had one idea. That's all you need. His one idea was to do very much what the boys did in Rich Dad Poor Dad with the comic books. The founder of Amazon, I know his name. I don't want to say it because it's just a thing there. I don't think he's doing much for the planet. I don't consider him to be someone who is participating at the level of being a beneficial presence or even appearing to want to be a beneficial presence. So that's neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. But the idea was to sell books in a more convenient, more expeditious way than anyone else was selling books. And, of course, he started it, it worked, and the rest is history. That's the good news. The interesting news is he's put an awful lot of people out of business in the process. But I think there's another piece to that puzzle as well, as far as I think all that happened with Amazon was to take what was going on in the world in retail in general and move it into the internet. There's Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, Sam's Club, all these different big box stores that even the people that Amazon was put out of business, Barnes and Noble and I can't remember the name of the other one. They're gone. That were the big box booksellers, and just moved it onto the internet. That same thing is available to you now as an entrepreneur. And again, you have to be selling something in this world. I mean, I have a dear friend out there who at this point is retired from what she was doing. She had a magnificent product that would have made her a millionaire if she had available to her what's available now to someone who is selling a very unique niche product. And it's out there for you if you're interested. And like so many other things, I'm talking about something that I not only know something about, but that I'm learning about right now. I'm learning about it every single day. I'm absolutely thrilled to pass that information on to you if you want to know. So just find me and ask me, and I'll be glad to do that. One of the things that's in that book that I just find fascinating is, we talk all the time about, in metaphysics, in spirituality, we talk all the time about our emotions, and we need to experience our emotions and be with our emotions. And unfortunately, in the process of doing all that, too often we think with our emotions. Emotions are not a whole hell of a lot different from the fight or flight response in the body, and in this little thought that I have going on in my head, and that I have always maintained, and actually it's physiology, that when you are in fight or flight, you are instantaneously dumber. And the reason you're dumber is because when you're in fight or flight, your brain shifts the flow of your blood and moves your blood from your frontal cortex, the place where you make rational decisions, and moves it into your arms and legs and into your amygdala, your lizard brain. For I think that's the right one. Is that your amygdala? Oh my goodness, your basic your fight or flight brain in the back. Boy, it's just escaping me in the moment. That doesn't matter. And so your blood flow is going to these things that will help you to escape, to fight or flee. In the meantime, the place where you make logical thought is not getting any blood. So realistically, you're just not as smart as you were pre-fight or flight. The thinking with your emotions is not a whole hell of a lot different, in that when you think with your emotions, there is an adrenaline rush, if you will. There's the adrenaline rush is actually something that adrenaline helps to feed that fight or flight response, and so you're touching into that when you think with your emotions. It's a little bit different, though, to think from your emotions, not with them, but from them. Stop and think about why am I having this particular reaction, this particular response to what's going on around me, or to the thought processes in my head. And when you stop and do that, you have the ability then to rationally, frontal cortex, rationally come to a thinking process from the emotion, not with the emotion. I hope that makes sense. Of course, the most powerful emotion we have in the world is fear. And fear actually is the place from which most people lose the ability to live comfortably. We're afraid of not having enough. As we get older, as you get to be my age, you got a nice pension, or you got the 401k, the fear of outliving your money, the fear of not being able to pay the bills, the fear of not getting a raise. There's so many fears around money, and we think from that fear, and all we do is we create the need for more money. And when we get the more money, what we do with that then is create more reasons to need more money, more car loans, more mortgages, more credit card debt, more student loans. We are, there's another workshop. Debt slaves is what we have become as a country. And that is not by accident. I hate conspiracies, but some of them are really real, even if they're not spoken, and even if the conspirators are not necessarily communicating, although in the particular case of banking and all of those things, they're absolutely not only communicating, they're colluding. Anyway, I put in the title of the show, Why Does Money Matter? Money matters because it is our medium of exchange. We need to have money so that we can get groceries, we can get houses, we can get cars. The key piece is, from Robert Kiyosaki's point of view, and I know this is correct, focus your attention on putting aside some money, not to save, but to put into a position so that you are not buying liabilities, you're buying assets. Your car is not an asset, it's a liability. Your house is a liability the entire time that you own it, it only becomes an asset if you make a profit when you sell it. For that split second when you go to the closing table and you get a check that you're now going to put into another house, you're going to buy another liability, a bigger one, a more expensive one, or whatever. Maybe you're downsizing. It doesn't really matter. The truth of the matter is you're still going to wind up with another liability. So just a thought around that. Put some money into a position where you can buy assets. A lot of assets out there right now. There's all kinds of things you can invest in, all kinds of vehicles. Again, internet-based. There's vehicles that you can go to where you can invest as little as $100 and be part of a mutual fund. Be part of, depending on your perspective on this, you can be part of a cryptocurrency investment group. All kinds of ways to do it. Worth your investigation. Don't take my word for it, please. I'm not an investment advisor. Just like I tell you all about the stuff that I'm doing for my body and for my physical health, but I'm still not a doctor and I'm still not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you my experience. So that's out there. So check it out if you want to. Another thing I want to talk to you about today. This is fascinating to me. I have a good friend out there, Larry Whithelm. Larry watches the show periodically. Not on here today, and I don't think, but Larry watches once in a while. He made a post this past week that I really, really loved. It was from a book that he has. It's a book of dailies that he reads every day, and I had not seen this before. I read Science of Mind 365, which is a great book with just passages from Ernest Holmes. There's always like a biblical or literary quote, and then a passage of explanation. I'm sorry. There's usually a quote from the Science of Mind, and then Holmes writes something basically explaining the quote, which that's what Ernest Holmes does. And at the bottom is usually some kind of a biblical quote. And it's a great book. My book is it's in storage. Lisa's book is here in the house. Hers is in pretty decent shape. Mine is beat to hell and back because it's got a gazillion sticky notes and sticky note flags sticking out of it. But it's a great book. But my friend Larry put this post out, and I wish I'd saved the post. Actually, I have saved the post. I don't have it with me here, but it is it's the Daily Stoic, and it is quotes from Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, that are great quotes from the masters of the philosophy known as Stoicism. And then there's commentary from a couple of guys, Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, around each of the quotes. And it really is, it's a great book. This is what it looks like inside. And I have been reading it that well. And, I made a comment on Facebook, and my dear friend Larry is such an amazing person. He just immediately went to Amazon and sent me a copy. But I have now been reading it for all of August. I guess I got it on the 30th of July, 31st of July, and I've been reading it every morning. This is really funny. I just kind of turning the pages. I was looking here, and on July 31st, so we were just talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad and your job, and the title for July 31st was "Your Career Is Not a Life Sentence." How about this? This is from Seneca. Just for the hell of it. How disgraceful is the lawyer whose dying breath passes while at court or at an advanced age, pleading for unknown litigants and still seeking the approval of ignorant spectators. Think about that. Have your dying breath be at your job while you are doing the best you can with the circumstances you have and seeking the approval of those who are watching. Interesting thought. Anyway, the Daily Stoic, and I highly recommend it if you are someone who reads Science of Mind 365. This is a great book. You'll really enjoy it. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Excuse me, a little health update for you. If you have been paying attention to me for any amount of time, you know that I have been experiencing some degenerative disc disease, some discomfort from sciatica that goes back and forth between my left side and my right side, but it's primarily on my left side. And some, maybe neuropathy in the bottoms of my feet. I think that's kind of a lot of old age thing. But when I got the diagnosis about my degenerative disc disease, and I'm sorry, about the degenerative disc disease. If you know the story, I went immediately to Joe Dispenza's first book, Evolve Your Brain. And on pages 15 through 30 of that book, he explains the catastrophic accident he had during a triathlon when he was hit by an SUV at 50 miles an hour, punted through the air, and basically collapsed his spine, crushed his spine. He was given 3 different choices, I think, on operations that he would need to have. Any one of those 3 would solve the problem. Without them, he would never walk again. He had his friends cart him out of the hospital. They took him out on a gurney. They took him home to one of the friends' houses. Through nutrition, exercise, and more than anything else, meditation, he was up seeing chiropractic patients in 12 weeks' time. That's the story. I immediately went to that book when I got that diagnosis. And I have been working on it, and I have had modest success until recently. The last several weeks, I have focused a lot of my meditative attention on the regeneration and rehydration of those discs in my spine, specifically the ones where I know I have an issue, the ones I was given the position, my lumbar discs between L4 and L5, and never mind, that doesn't matter. It's just some in the bottom, some in the middle, and then basically in general, degenerating discs. I have eliminated, I'm going to say 90% of the pain. I have focused my attention on my SI joints. That's your sacroiliac joints. There's 2 of them that kind of hinge your hips to your spine. Without them, you're not standing up. And they have been out of whack. Just they're tilted somehow. And I focus some attention on that. And the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve is when you have sciatica, there's 3 nerves that come down through your pelvis. They go out through your pelvis and down your legs all the way to your heel. And they come together as the sciatic nerve. And it's impinged. It's inflamed. And I have, again, relieved that pain by 90%. Now, there's been some additions to my nutritional intake that have changed without question. I have a new item. I'm not going to show you the label because I need to make sure it's okay to show you this. But this is something I found on the internet, and it has. I took 1 a day for the first 30 days that I tried it. I've been taking 2 a day now. I got to look inside. I've been taking 2 a day now for probably 25 days. Not 25 days. 2 a day for 10 days. And I have about another 5 days to go before I finish that jar. Just taking 2 a day because part of the thing is that it helps to use stem cells or activate, if you will, stimulate stem cells to help regenerate connective tissue. So it's working on the arthritis in my knees, which is dramatically improved. And, the arthritis in my knees is just simply, jeepers. Osteoarthritis, which is just, the deterioration of the cartilage. And I'm experiencing less pain there. I'm experiencing more flexibility there. I am experiencing more flexibility in my spine, less pain there. My sciatica is well diminished. I am definitely feeling better in all of my joints. And I have also added something that I've been hearing about for a really long time. I've added collagen to my morning shake, and anywhere from 11 to 22 grams of collagen protein. And I think that is working. It's working on my core strength and my workouts for staying strong, for building muscle. I mean, you've heard me say probably 1,000 times on this show, if not other places, that one of the most surefire methods for stalling the aging process is to continue to build lean muscle tissue on your body until the day you die. And the only way you're going to do that is with good nutrition and exercise. You can't have one without the other. You're not going to build strong muscle tissue without exercise and diet. It just ain't possible. And I have adopted this exercise program of 1 day is all body weight exercises, basically calisthenics, push-ups, squats. I've discovered this new exercise called pike push-ups, leg lifts, back extensions, couple other things, whatever they are. And that's one day. The next day is I lift weights, and I only lift barbells, and I do very modest weights. I only have the biggest weights I have are 35-pound dumbbells, and 25s, 15s, 10s, and 5s. That's all I have. So I'm never using big, heavy weights. And then the third day I walk. That was today. I walk at least 2 miles on that third day. And then tomorrow is a rest day. All I'll do is stretch tomorrow. Every single day at the end of whatever exercising I'm doing, I am stretching. You're not going to find a bigger proponent of stretching on the planet than me. I have never, ever, ever been good at it. I have never been focused at it. I've never done it long term. I've done it maybe more for pain than for anything else. But I have been really embracing the stretching every single day. Makes an incredible difference, not only in the pain levels and keeping things moving, but in flexibility. I am so much more flexible right now than I was when I got to North Carolina 9 months ago. So anyway, that's the health update. And if I can help you with that stuff, let me know, please. Without a doubt, that's pretty much all I got for you today. I want you to always remember that this is a nonprofit organization. The New Thought Media Network lives and breathes by virtue of your donations to our cause. If you're enjoying our entertainment, if you're enjoying our programming, if you're enjoying my show, if you enjoy any shows, if you enjoy just the idea of having a place to go for good, positive noise in the world, welcome to New Thought Media Network. Go to newthoughtmedia.org, ntmedia.org. Click donate, and we're thrilled to have anything and everything that you want to give to us. We're just as grateful as we can possibly be for your donations. If you want to reach me, you can find me at teamrockitnow@gmail.com. Remember, always the sponsor of this show is hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. That is, go there, find the greatest collection of CBD and hemp-infused products you're going to find anywhere on the planet. I guarantee that. In fact, I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee on every single bit of the HempWorks product line. The Facebook page that goes hand in hand with the Vibrant Living Hour is called Vibrant Aging. Please go there and check me out. And if you've got any questions, thoughts, problems, issues, things you want me to talk about on this show, I am absolutely thrilled to do that. Once again, we appreciate your donations. New Thought Media Network, ntmedia.org, and click donate. And we are absolutely beside ourselves for any and all donations that you give to us. It just is amazing. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you had some ahas with what I had to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I am immensely blessed by the incredible gift that is your time and your attention. I love and bless you all. I wish you all the blessings that the universe has to offer. And until next Thursday, namaste.